Before the Blue, Part 2. So I guess the question one might ask is, if I desired this woman so badly, then why did I not try to talk to her at least? After all, I wasn't bad looking, could be social when I wanted to be, and made a decent living. Plus if she did reject me, then at least that would have been the end of it, and no hard feelings. We would both move on with our lives. No, it wasn't that. I know it doesn't make much sense, but it's not whether she would reject me, it's if she would have actually accepted and had me. I learnt very early on, the hard way, that the whole fairy tale fantasy was just that, a very unrealistic fantasy. Back in my childhood, I grew up in a small suburban town where nothing really happened. Back then I was just as invisible to the world as I am today. The only difference was Sarah. We met when we were both 12. She quickly became my best and only friend. Then when we both turned 13, we became what some would call a couple. At the time she was my everything. She made living in this void of a life much more enjoyable. At the time I thought we really were going to live happily ever after. But it's almost funny how life likes to play a game called Screw You. When we both turned 18, she traded me in for another guy. Without much of a word or any sign of remorse, she moved out of our small town to live with this other guy. I never heard from her again. Not long after, I decided I could not live in this town anymore. So I moved to a bigger city a few hours away, got a night shift job working at a warehouse, and moved into an affordable 2-room apartment, which is where I've been for the past 10 years. I have everything I need at least. I never interacted with anyone much, co-workers or otherwise, because people are usually just looking out for themselves, and I never went out much either. When you sleep during the day, there's not really a lot you can do during nights off. Maybe see the occasional film, or go to a comedy club every now and then. Sometimes when I wake up from a dream of me and Sarah being together again. Well, up until I first saw this mysterious girl, that is. That's why I never wanted to know if this woman liked me in return. If she did, I didn't want to get attached to her, only to then be forced to let go again later down the road. So if this was the best case scenario, then I would take what I could get and make the most of it. It was a small and simple pleasure, but it was enough for me to keep going, which is why, whatever her name was, I was grateful that she was in my life. Except she soon wouldn't be. The following week, after another long night and day, she and her friends did not show up this time.